Hello, prisoners. Father Mark, and this is day 74 of the Bible in a Year, and Numbers chapter 27 and 28, and Deuteronomy 28. In chapter 27, as Father Michael Schmitz pointed out so it's kind of laws about inheritance, and it's important to keep in mind that the Israelites, the Jewish people, were all kind of very intense on land. The land, inheriting land was, they had to keep it within the tribe because, well, you can understand that they're been giving a promised land, and so later on they're going to have to make sure that it doesn't get separated or alienated from each tribe is going to get their inheritance, their region of the land. And so if a man dies without any sons, someone from his own tribe should be able to inherit that land rather than some uncle or near relative. So therefore this law was made to kind of keep the land within the tribe or the family. And as Father Michael explained, normally the inheritance went to the son, but the dowry went to the daughters. The daughters got a dowry, so they got some of the property of the estate as well. So it's beautiful that in the Israelite culture it was a lot more fair toward women than in other Near Eastern countries. So now later at the very end of the book of Deuteronomy, they're going to make another rule, though, to keep the land in the family or in the tribe, and that is that if a daughter inherits the land, she can't marry someone outside the tribe. So it doesn't seem fair to the woman, but it's all this kind of mania, this craze that they had about keeping the land. Now this is the Jubilee year, 2025, as I record this, and the Jubilee, every 50 years, the Israelites had a special year in which people who had lost their land would be able to go back to their family territories. Every 50 years, everything was reset in the society, and that's another sort of a law. And so it's really something that is just trying to ensure that what God did when he took this nation out of slavery in Egypt to give them a promised land, that it doesn't get undone, that it doesn't get kind of ruined. So they have to have all these laws to try to make it so that God's intention is, God's will is done, as it were, in the land of Israel. But let's spiritualize it and realize that it also is kind of a type or a foreshadowing of heaven. That we are the children of God, and we are promised that we're going to have a land, and it shouldn't be taken from us. And so the land of Israel is a symbol of heaven, and that in the Jubilee year, in which everybody goes back to their land and their family, and the happiness of being a landowner, we have a place prepared for us in heaven. That's a beautiful part of our whole religion, that God wants that for each of us. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, it speaks of blessings and curses, and they are conditional, right? If you obey God's voice and commandments, you will have blessings. If you, and there's an if right there in verse number 1. And there's also another if in verse 15. If you do not obey the voice of the Lord or keep his commandments, then these curses will come upon you, these punishments. And this is because all of this is kind of a covenant. And a covenant, again, I was going to get into it yesterday, but I'll speak of it a little bit now. And that is that, yes, a covenant, remember with Abraham, there was that one ceremony where they cut the animals in half and God passed through the middle. Normally the two people doing a covenant would pass through the body parts of these cut animals, and kind of to say that if one of us disobeys this covenant, then let what happened to these animals happen to us. And again, so many of these ancient Near Eastern covenants, they would have some sort of a consequence, little children rhyme that we sometimes remember from childhood. If I lie, or if I stick a needle in my eye, hope to die. This kind of cross my heart and hope to die. That kind of thing. This thing of consequences, and I'm thinking also of if two countries make an agreement with each other, make a covenant with each other, and if you break it, then there's going to be punishment. And one of the signs of a covenant was the bow in the sky, and that was that rainbow that for Noah, the Noahic covenant. And you can think of it like a bow and arrow, which is like a weapon, like a machine gun or a gun, like a bow. So if someone breaks this covenant, they're going to suffer. They're going to get an arrow. They're going to get shot. They're going to get punished somehow. But the bow, you could say, is pointed up toward God. And so the rainbow is pointed up toward God. So God is saying, I promise never again to punish the world with a flood. And if I break it, then let me be punished, sort of. So this big weapon in the sky is a sign of the covenant, but it's pointed up toward God. And I've also heard, and the scholars say that all of the covenants involve some sort of a curse, and that when Jesus suffered his passion, he sort of suffered all the curses of all the covenants, like cursed is a man who hangs upon a tree, and Adam and Eve, they would have to work the ground, and thorns would come because they had sinned, and Jesus had a crown of thorns. So all of these things. So really, it's God that takes it. He takes it on the chin. He takes it. He takes the suffering, and so all of these curses, really, God suffered more than we do in the end, and that's the sign of His great loving covenant with us.